Hello, this is the Way Anchialine Pools Engineering Product Rough Draft with Brody
and Zach.
So I'll be starting off with our goal. So our project purpose for this is to decrease the effects of invasive fish in anchialine pools. Our problem statement for this is that when traps/nets are used in these ponds help with grow up when the fish are being caught out of those ponds. The item aid in accomplishing this goal. Or how does the item aid in accomplishing this goal? It helps by removing these invasive species, which slowly decrease health on these native pools, which are only found here in Hawaii. That's it for our goal. Next up, we have our new knowledge.
Some of the new knowledge we were able to learn from this year is that 18% of ponds with invasive fish have shrimp. In the past 20 years, 95% of anchialine ponds habitat has been destroyed, and because of invasive species, many shrimp have become nocturnal.
Alright, now we have our design brainstorm and initial solutions. So some of our cost restraints, requirements and limitations. We had a $500 cost restraint. So like the cast net here was pretty expensive. We didn't make that, so that fit into our budget. So we had to buy, I think, only a few materials like zip ties, mesh for the traps, maybe a little bit of PVC pipe. These things also had to fit into the Wea school vans, so we could be able to transport them. And then we can also only go to public anchialine pools, which was kind of a limitation for us since there's a lot that are on state land that we can't really go into without having like a permit saying what we're doing and why. These traps and nets had to be deployable and retrievable because their goal is to try to keep the anchialine pools nice and not having to go walk into them all the time and go stir things up. And they also have to effectively catch invasive fish species, so if they don't, it kind of ruins the whole entire point of everything. And then right now we have, right now you're seeing a design matrix up on screen, and then you're seeing also a chart showing pH scale, which we have from Pond 1, Pond 2, and Pond 3 from Vovaloli. So this is showing that Pond 1 has a pH of 7.6. Pond 2 has a pH of 7.6, Pond 3 has a pH of 7.4, and then next up you're seeing a small table from Pond 1, Pond 2, and Pond 3, which shows a pH, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, depth, and salinity level. So the pH for all those, Pond 1 has 7.6, the ammonia for Pond 1 is 0, nitrite for Pond 1 is 0, nitrate for Pond 1 is 3, the depth is 1.5 feet, and the salinity level is 14. And then for Pond 2, we have a pH level of 7.6, ammonia level of 0, nitrite level of 0, a nitrate level of 0, the depth of that pond was 6 inches, and the salinity level was 15. Pond 3 had a pH of 7.4, had an ammonia level of 0.25, 0 nitrate, had 2 nitrite, these are parts per millionth, by the way, had a depth of 6 inches, and had a salinity of 13. And now we have our initial evaluation iterations.
Okay, for my group, how we tested our prototype was we first added bait into our trap, and then threw the trap in the water and held onto our rope, which we used to help retrieve and release the trap. And then we waited a certain amount of time, normally around 15 minutes, to wait for any guppies or fish to get into the trap. And after that, we would retrieve the trap with the rope. Then later, we would open the hinge on the side of the trap, which we would take out our catches and throw that into a bucket. Here are some of the data tables and charts. First we go over our trap design and all the dimensions. We have the funnel, the main outside frame, we have the door and hinge, and we also have a bait box, and we have all the dimensions of these. And the chart we have over here is the Vovaloli Opiola graph, which is a graph of the amount of Opiola in each of the 5 ponds. and it has a period 1 and a period 2, which are showing 2 different times we have went to the Vallaloi ponds. Some of the iterations for my group was in the first quarter we focused on nets, then we switched to traps for guppies. In quarter 2 we switched to tilapia traps from guppy traps, and then in quarter 3 we continued improving our current design, and in quarter 4 we were taking more data about the ponds and working more in pond health.
Alright, so that was for traps. Now for nets, we have how our prototype was. We've only had one net the entire school year, so we have a 8-foot cast net that we bought from Pacific Rim. This net has a 2-inch stretch net mesh, so that's legal size here in Hawaii. It has a skirt at the bottom of it, so that means fish get stuck in the skirt, and it has bigger holes at the bottom so they can come out really easily. I have the same exact table with the O-pipe lid on it, which you guys are seeing up on screen right now. And then that's their trap design on the side that you're seeing. And then our iterations so far, we started off with our cast net when the ponds were really big, but as we started moving over to smaller ponds, the cast net couldn't really fit over those, so we had to find something else to use. So then we started doing pond health methods. So we started off with our 3x3x3 method, which was a lot of different things at once. We were trying to do temperature, pH, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, salinity, trying to measure the width. We were trying to get the area of the pond as well. We couldn't do all that in about an hour, so we have to scale down to now, which we have just our normal pond health. This is much simpler, much faster. We just take temperature, which takes about 3 seconds. Salinity takes maybe 15 seconds. And then we do all of our water chemistry tests. That takes 7 to 10 minutes usually per pond. So we can usually get out of there in just about under an hour, which works out great. And then we have our importance. So the global issue does this project solve? So right now this project is trying to solve how does making stuff, or not making stuff, making nets, traps, things like that, get rid of these invasive species in these anchialine pools, which are endangered. They're only found here on the Hawaiian Islands. The UN Sustainability Goal, this is number 14, Life Underwater. And how does this project impact the local community? So this impacts the local community by making the areas which people see these ponds look beautiful, then make them look great again. Since these also are a kind of endangered ecosystem here just to the Hawaiian Islands, we're trying to take care of them and the native species that live in them and nowhere else in the world. As well for, like, let's say you walk down the pine trees, you see all the anchialine pines, usually this really gross covered in algae. It doesn't make it seem like a really pleasing place to be, but if all those are cleaned up, it look really nice. And now we have our assessment.
For my group, one thing that was very successful in our engineering process, that our trap, even though that our trap was focused on tilapia, we were still able to catch guppies, and even with the larger funnel, our retrieval rope, we could use our retrieval rope to pull quick enough to not have the guppies escape. How we proved our process was successful was when we took cat food as bait, which worked significantly better than any other bait we used. And how the engineering process could be improved on was by adding a specified area on the trap to hold bait and to move the trap door for getting the fish and other stuff that we had on the trap to this from the side of the trap to the bottom, which would help take out the fish a lot better from the trap.
Alright, and then for my assessment, what was successful about the engineering process for us? For us, it was really our iterations, having to move from such big ponds, which were like almost 50 feet long, to little ponds that were hardly even 3 feet long. So we had to adapt really quick, come up with a new project, or not a new project, a new way, a new method of taking data down, because we can't sit there and do nothing. How do we prove our process was successful? The proved our process was successful by, first of all, with just the nets, catching out multiple fish. The best day we had was 23 tilapia in one day. And this was extremely successful for us, but then when we move on to smaller pools, we had to change up our methods to pond health, which would prove those successful too, so we've been taking consistent data from those ponds. How could the engineering process be improved upon? I think our engineering process could be improved upon. I feel like we could get multiple test kits. We have multiple people doing it at the same time. So we'll be able to cut down the time by almost half to almost 3 times the time. So we could be out of there faster too. And possibly having another way to maybe help catch out fish since we're not doing that. And how could this project be expanded next year? I think that we could be breeding the opaiula, really. We could try to catching out just a few from all the ponds, so they're all different bloodlines. Having all of them breed, and then taking those opaiula back to the spots we found and putting in more than opaiula than what we took out from there. I thought that would greatly help the pond. And this is, of course, after we catch all of them basic fish species, and there's none left in there. And then our works cited over here, we have Bailey Brock, we have Nelha, we have Noah, all of our ACE articles, biomentoring, and
we also have ACLY and BDW.
And this is the Anchialine Pools Rough Draft podcast / video. And next time when we were talking about all of our charts and stuff, those are actually going to be showing up on screen. We just don't have time to do it right now. Thank you for listening in.